Alright, well my name's Mikhayla, and I'm in a category called dramatic interpretation or drama. It's usually, you take it from a script, and it's usually kind of depressing or sad. Mine isn't though, so kind of different, so. Oh, forgive me if I'm frightened. I never see strangers, and I hardly know what I say. My sister Lavinia, she's younger than I. She says I tend to wander back and forth in time. So you must bear with me. Welcome to Amherst. My name is Emily Elizabeth Dickinson. Emily Dickinson lived a life of seclusion, preferring to stay in her house and write poetry. Living in her house, Emily began to change the ways of poetry. She composed poetry with no rules, no guidelines. She could say whatever she wanted, and she didn't have to rhyme or have a certain meter. She could feel the words, breathe them in, internalize them, and turn them into whatever she wanted. Emily Dickinson paved the way for future poets to be able to also write whatever they felt. The Belle of Amhurst by William Luce. Here in Amherst, I'm known as Squire Edward Dickinson's half-cracked daughter. Well, I am. The neighbors can't figure me out. I don't cross my father's grounds to go to any house or town. Oh, I haven't left the house in years. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door. Well, why should I socialize with village gossips? Oh, there goes one of them now. Henrietta Swetzer. Oh, everyone knows Henny. She'd even intimidate the Antichrist. Just look at her. She's strolling by the house to try and catch a glimpse of me. Would you like that? Oh, so I give them something to talk about? I dress in white all year round, even in winter. Bridal white, Henny calls it. Dear, dear, dresses in bridal white she does, every day of the blessed year, year in, year out. Disappointed in love as a girl, so I hear. Poor creature, all so very sad. And her sister, Lavinia, a spinster too. Didn't you know? Oh, yes. Stayed unmarried just to stay at home and take care of Miss Emily. 2 old maids in that big house. Oh, what a lonely life, to shut yourself away from good people like us. Indeed. You should see them come to the door, bearing gifts, craning their necks, trying to see over Vinny's shoulder. Oh, but I'm too fast for them. I've already run up the stairs 2 steps at a time, and I hide there until they leave. You can imagine what they make of that. One old lady came to the door the other day to get a peek inside. I surprised her by answering the door myself. She stammered something about looking for a house to buy. To spare her the expense of moving, I directed her to the cemetery. Oh, I do have fun with them, my menagerie. I guess people in small towns must have their local characters, and for Amherst, that's what I am. But do you know something? I enjoy the game. I've never said this to anyone before, but I'll tell you. I do it on purpose. The white dress, the seclusion, it's all deliberate. People find it hard to believe I had a normal childhood. They visualize instead a miniature version of me as I am now. Oh, a pint-sized little Emily, dressed in all white, lisping riddles and aphorisms and baby talk. And of course hiding from the family. Actually, at 15, I was a very typical Amherst girl. I went to dances, I giggled my way through classes, quilting bees, and scores of parties. You know, I never knew how to tell time by the clock till I was 15. Oh, Father had taught me, but I didn't understand. And I was afraid to say I didn't, and afraid to ask anyone else, lest he should know. Can you imagine never knowing what time it was? Well, thank goodness for twilight. Father never kissed us goodnight in his life. Oh, I know he loved us, but he was so austere. Why, he hardly ever smiled. When my sister Vinny was a girl, she enjoyed showing off her pretty white shoulders by wearing her summer frocks quite low, about here. Oh, it was the fashion. Father could only take so much of this. Then he'd bark at her, Lavinia, don't be so affected, put on a shawl. I remember when he discovered I was writing till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, but Father, I thought you were asleep. Oh, no, I didn't notice the time. 2 o'clock. Is it that late? Yes, but this is the only time the house is quiet, Father. Except for Vinny. She snores like a poker and shovel and a pair of tongs. Yes, I know you have a rule about rising early, but I haven't missed one morning, have I? Tired? Oh, I do. Well, I was writing. Just a poem, Father. Now, out loud. To make a prairie, Father. To make a prairie, it takes a clover and 1 bee, 1 clover and a bee, and reverie. The reverie alone will do if bees are few. Another one? Oh, yes, Father, I do. I keep all my finished ones in here. Cancel the rule for me. Then I can sleep in late in the morning. Oh, thank you, Father. See what I mean? Oh, words are my life. I look at words as if they were entities, sacred beings. They're words to which I lift my hat when I see them sitting on the page. Sometimes I'll write one, and I'll look at its outlines until it starts glowing brighter than any sapphire. I hesitate which words to pick when I write a poem. A poet can choose but a few words, and they have to be the cheapest words, the best words. If I read Keats, Shelley, Shakespeare, Mrs. Browning, Emily Bronte, oh, what an afternoon for heaven when Bronte entered there! And they make my body so cold, no fire can ever warm me. I know that is poetry. Have you ever felt that way? If I feel physically as if the top of my head were taken off, I know that is poetry. This is the only way I know it. Is there any other way? Father's house and my garden. This is my world, and for my companions I have the hills and the sundown, and my dog, Carlo, large as myself, that my father bought me. They're better than beings because they know but don't tell. You see, I never had to go anywhere to find my paradise. I found it all right here. The only world I wanted, here in Amherst, Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Now there's a word you can lift your hat to.